Okay, Nepal, we're gonna look today. I'm gonna see exactly how those people live and the population, how it's doing. Well, as the neighbors, they don't have that many. They have China and India. And I'm not sure if I missed anything. Yeah, no, the India have that weird thing here happening. But yeah, just two neighbors. One of those high elevation country. They have the Mount Everest. They call it Mount. I think it's more like a peak, but it is what it is, I guess. And they share it with China at the border right here. So yeah, who knows? One side of the Everest is on the Nepal side, the other one on the Chinese, I think. Let me check. Yeah, pretty close to that. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Now let's see the population. Let's see how those people actually are doing. So 30 million people and rising, which is pretty much, I would say, an insane number, but I guess it is what it is. The growing rate, we're gonna see pretty much all over the place. They go down, but still they have some spikes up. I have no idea how they're gonna cope with that in the future, but let's see this. 1955, only around 10 million people with a growing rate about 2%. That will translate roughly in 170,000 people with a migration on minus 16,000. Median age, 18.6 years old. Fertility rate, those nonsense 6 again. In an urban population of around 3%, so yeah, extremely low. But again, keep in mind, it's a mountain country. Now, fast forward to 2025, 30 million people, so 3 times the population already, 3 times. Say the yearly change is going to be on minus, but a lot of that is from migration. You can see here they actually they start migrating out of there from since the pandemic stops, which is 2022, minus 380,000, then around minus 400,000, which is a huge number. I can confirm that in my country there are a lot of them. So yeah, median age got raised a bit, around 25 years old, and fertility rate got below replacement, so 1.94. They got below replacement since 2023, or let's say even 2. It's a replacement rate, but still you can see a lot of people leaving. The fertility rate could drop pretty significant, I would say. The urban population around 25%, so clearly a huge improvement. But look at this, in the future the population is still gonna start growing up, mostly because somehow they're gonna stop migration. I don't know, from 400,000 people just down to 30,000 people. So yeah, I don't know exactly how they're gonna do that, but it's gonna be interesting to see. And the population is gonna start rising a bit. You can see from 30 million today to 2050 around 35 million people, and the growing rate is going to slow down over time. The yearly change is going to be, let's say, around 150,000 people, in migration minus 30,000, around that. Median age goes a bit up, 35 years old, so 10 years increase, which is kind of huge in the next 25 years, I would say. Fertility rate is pretty much stabilized around 1.7. Probably is going to be, if those numbers actually keep down, probably this number is going to be much lower, around 1.4, 1.5. But we're going to see that. And the urban population around 39%. So this number with the urban population is going to go up. The other numbers pretty much is going to go also down, especially with the fertility rate. Now, look at this. Life expectancy, very good there. 71 years. For the both sexes, females around 72, males around 70, so pretty close to each other. That's an interesting fact. Look at this, infant mortality rate 19.6 and death at the age of 5, 23.5, so pretty much no medical system whatsoever in this country. The pyramid looks like this. You can see a huge male surplus until the age of 24, 25, and then you have a huge female surplus, which is interesting to see. Probably because, I don't know, maybe the men don't live that much there, but still that you can see here that life expectancy pretty close to each other. So yeah, but overall you can see the pyramid, the base is getting shrinking and shrinking. They get smaller and smaller, which shows that the population is gonna stop growing, especially at this rate. And you can see here in the number that confirms that, but still a lot of migration is gonna also, they're gonna stop. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting fact to see. Now, economy of Nepal, well, don't expect that much. They're around 50 billion US dollars nominal, so that's pretty much nothing. And that will translate roughly in 180 billion PPP. The growing rate, yeah, such a small economy can have those, which is not that actually a huge number. Anything under 5% of those small numbers is not that much, so that around that. Per capita, it's around 1,555 dollars, so yeah, pretty much nothing. And a PPP around $5,600, again, not that much at all, I would say. They export mainly in India, and China, I would say not a huge one. Also, they import a lot from China and then import a lot from India. So yeah, this okay with such a small economy, it's not much you can say about those countries. Corruption is well, corruption is not so bad comparison with what we saw in the yesterday videos. So we're gonna look at here. Let's say Nepal, where it's gonna be. We're gonna go by the name. Gonna find it much easier. 34. So yeah, extremely corrupt country still, but not extremely bad as we can saw. But yeah, it's not gonna make any favor in the future. Well, historically we can see here from some this is a federal democratic republic. I didn't know that. I don't know how much actually that matters to them there. Like I say, with that huge corruption. Who knows, but they are an independent country in that region for quite a while so far. So yeah, I would say they're gonna have some strong culture in that region. So that would be interesting to see how they building, what the architecture it is, how the road are, and how actually they doing back there. Now let's see. For some reason we don't have a red line, so clearly they have some issues with the border in some region, but I guess it is what it is. We're gonna have to deal with that. Hopefully we're gonna see a lot of 360s and street view, which is already much better than those ex-Soviet country that we checked yesterday and the last week also. So yeah, that's gonna be a good place to start. Now this is look like we are in the tropics, not the way. It doesn't look like we are in the one of those high elevation country on the planet. 300 meters elevation, not insanely high in this region, I would say. Yeah, the road, housing not that well so far. The road, pretty, I don't know, decent, I would say. A lot of garbage in some area. We can see a few there. Yeah, you can see it's poverty pretty much. But at least the architecture is, I would say, I would choose this type of house anytime compared with the Soviet apartments. So yeah, I will do that. They have the wheel on the left, on the right side of the car. I didn't know that. Well, I'm just mistaken. Ah, no, it's just this guy is driving backwards. Yeah, no, I don't think that. Oh no, it's on the right side. That's pretty interesting. Now, the landscape of the country, yeah, a lot of people, especially from the west, go there to just go on the Mount Everest, on the peak. They like it to climb that for whatever reason. It's probably the human nature, just I want to go to the highest point of the planet and stuff like that, but it's pretty nonsense to me, I would say. If you have the few people that do that, which we have, let's say in the early 90s, that would be quite an achievement. But now, like, everybody wants to do the same thing. For me, it's like, nah, it doesn't make you anything more important than anyone else. Now, clearly, like I said, the architecture, it is better compared with the Soviet, but still pretty much worse. We have some goats on the road here, so yeah, pretty, how should I say this? I want to say pretty undeveloped country. Let's call it like that. Yeah. Those people living in a tent here, probably this is a 700 meters elevation, so clearly it's gonna be much colder in the nights. Oh, look at this garbage. I blame the people right here. When you see such a isolated communities, when they still have those garbage pretty much everywhere, you cannot blame the government for that. At least it doesn't matter for me. I don't never play government for this type of thing. Like we saw in South Africa is also. That's just people fault 100%. Otherwise, look at this guy, just having the best life probably here. For some reason, they choose to secure the roof with the rocks, so clearly not that very high tech. They have a wall of bricks, of stones. That's also interesting. In this country, like I said, you can expect that much with 1,500 US dollars per capita. Come on. Hopefully I'm gonna see the border here. I can see it, so yeah, good luck with that. But we have some roads here in the mountain, which is pretty interesting to see. Overall, again, it was one of those countries where the landscape is pretty good. You can see nice climbing mountains. If you're one of those guys who just want to climb every single peak in the world, you definitely have to go to Nepal. But I don't know, for the most, let's say, Western people, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you can have something similar to this, similar, not the same again, I say that. In Western world, I choose to go, let's say, to Switzerland or the French Alps or the Italian Alps, and I have pretty much the same picture. Probably, who knows, maybe even better, depends what you want. But clearly, yeah, the Tibetan mountains with Nepal have something on their own. I'm not trying to diminish that in any way, but still, what's worrying me is that low wages, I would say, high migration, a lot of corruption, and also, oh, there's a pretty good road here, and also, I'm not sure exactly how the crime rate is here, but usually, when those things that I said earlier are that high or that low, uh, usually crime follows very quickly. But yeah, I'm sure it's not the worst place to live, especially, like I say, one of those more nature guys. But we're gonna look for the urban areas. That's not gonna be a pretty image. No idea why they put concrete here and there when you can have all those stones that you can do a much better job. This is 1,700 meter elevation, so pretty high. I'm not sure. They have some grass here, but clearly it's gonna be much. They're gonna struggle to grow that, but that will look probably even much better than just concrete in the middle of the mountain. So you have to blend your lifestyle with the nature, I would say, and not just go fully against it. Whew, yeah, like I say, landscape wise, pretty good. Let's check some cities. Let's see if we can find a few of them. This one, it looks pretty huge. Whoa, look at this one. What is the capital of this? Katamad. No, I'm not even trying to pronounce that. You can see it right there. I am thankful for the street views. That's a nice comeback after a while making those videos. The road doesn't look that bad, I have to say. I don't like those cables. It looks like South America or something like that, when you have like a million cables on the poles. Just pretty much, if one of those breaks, good luck with that, finding which one is good, which one is bad. Housing, well, it's an urban area, so yeah, I don't like it that much. And you hear the news usually sometimes when they have a big earthquake in the area, like all the buildings pretty much crumble and got destroyed. I blame that on a building code. Oh, look at this, they have expensive car too here. Ooh, so some people do really good money here. So yeah, I blame that on the building code. I know we here in the West, we give a lot of shit about that, and usually kind of get upset with how many rules and regulation we have, and definitely they can get much better, a bit loose, a bit in a better way to favorize, let's say, the construction. But clearly, they have a role. As much said shit as we can give them, they clearly deserve. They have a purpose, and we don't have those kind of problems usually in the West. And we only have those problems when some development wants to cut some corners, and there's not that good, let's say, supervising those construction areas by the government and by the agencies of the government, and usually that's when things go south. But otherwise, the construction in the West is pretty solid. You don't have to worry about earthquakes and stuff like that. So yeah, they have some expensive car too here. This is how much, 2024, so pretty recently. The quality of those street view not that well, so yeah, but at least we have street view, so that's a good thing. Let's check some other area. Now I have no idea how many people live in this town, but judging by the size of it, it's gonna be like, I don't know, 5 million, probably even more. This is pretty much the countryside of the of the main city, let's call it like that. The architecture, again, you have a dog right here in the entrance for whatever reason. A bit of garbage on the floor, which is kind of fucked up in my opinion. You have the store there, you can pick that up. What's wrong? Otherwise, the road, yeah, not that great, but also not that worst. The buildings, nothing that much impressive in my opinion. Let's go back to the main city. Oh, this looks like a new construction area. Yeah, here it doesn't look, everything is kind of jammed together, small streets, no quality whatsoever in that street view. They have a highway here. What is this? Or just a wide road? Okay, those buildings, yeah, that doesn't look that well to me. They didn't have Soviet communism here, but clearly they was close to China, so usually you have some influence on how you do things in your country. Especially you have pretty much just two neighbors, India and China. Yeah, those buildings look a bit Soviet to me, so that Eastern European style, which I hate the most. We have some 360 probably from inside, but yeah, it's interesting to see how they look inside. This is pretty much a hotel room. Well, yeah, not that much. We have a safe here, I think. This is cheap furniture. Painting there. Some AC, which is good. Those cheap sun blinders, whatever they call it. Very high toilet. High-tech toilet. I hope that's not a shower. Yeah, pretty basic, I would say. Yeah, if you go in this country, don't go for luxury, just go from the mountains and landscape. So I don't see the point living in a main city, my opinion, but maybe it's just me. Ooh, yeah, you can see that liquor and meat house. So that looks red. That looks great. That's my style of store. This one probably it's a bit more richer. This one not so well. The road here not so well also. I don't know what they're doing with those pipe right here. Doesn't look very safe. Let's call it like that. Oh god. This one, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything that it's not my style. Let's call it like that. For some reason stop working in that street. They have a lot of errors here. I'm gonna stay between these main cities because I want to see more exactly how those people actually live and what is the reason why they come into my country and also in the Western world, in the European countries. But the first thing is gonna be poverty 100%. And yeah, a lot of scooters, a lot of motorcycles. I like that. Just gonna have a much better traffic. Those guys probably go into the bus station or to airport, just go to Europe. Not so well, I would say. It looks basic. I've seen worse, so yeah. But again, you don't come in this country. Look how big it is. God, probably it's more than 5 million people. How many people live in this? Let me check real quick. I want to see this one. We have some population numbers here. I don't think so. Let me check really quick because I am actually curious. Not even 1 million? No way. Probably they didn't measure right. Probably just in some extremely, let's say, the center of the town, probably. There's no way that. Probably like 5 million, I would say, in all that area. So yeah, in all this area, you can see here all this urbanization. Probably just here in the center is gonna be that, but it's gonna be much more than that when you calculate the whole area. Now on the airport, it's pretty big, I would say. So yeah, pretty high tech, let's call it like that. But otherwise, yeah, doesn't look well at all. It definitely has some Asian vibes, 100%. And those in the South of Asia, most likely, not the North one. But yeah, like I say, if you go in this country, just stay away from it. You're not here from the city. You're not, oh my god, you're not here from this type of thing. So we kind of see how those people live. Not that well, in my opinion. You came here from the mountains, let's face it. That's exactly why you go here. We have some airport here, an airstrip that deep in the mountains. That already look better. Very close to the river. Let's check this 360. See, they have those 360 and even some street view even here in the middle of nowhere, which is, I really appreciate that. Doesn't look that safe, that one. Yeah, so same nonsense with the population. That I think this is the most problem. They have like 1 million people in the, not even, maybe less than 1 million people, like 500,000 in the whole country. Definitely they're gonna live a much better life. I'm looking for the border, and I'm not sure when it's gonna end and when it's gonna start, but I don't want to cross to China, so I'm gonna stay pretty close here to the mountains. Now, like I said, you go for the mountains. If you go in this country, you're looking for those type of experience, not the city one. So yeah, if you want the city experience, there is no better than Europe, so that should be your first choice. Landscape wise, yeah, this one, it looks pretty good. If you're one of those trail hiking persons, it is very nice here. You can find some small village in the mountains. That's I want to see next. Oh yeah, it is kind of a small village, but we don't have that many 360, so I cannot check that well. Like I say, hopefully we are still in the in Nepal. This is a very high altitude, 360. It's gonna be probably like 4,000 meters. Yeah, for almost 5,000 meters. Whoa, look at those cars. What is this? We are at the border. What's happening here? Probably they want to go on that peak right there, and that's why they have so many. Let me check this one. So that'll be like a base car camp, whatever. Yeah, this is exactly why you come in this country. I would like to compare all those countries in the mountains with what we have in Antarctica. I know Antarctica is extremely hard to reach, but that would be something interesting to see. Compare all of this when Antarctica is gonna get pretty much open for tourists and construction, all that stuff. That would be interesting to see, because that would be like very, very nice place to live, I would say, especially in the future, not this century, maybe the next one. When you're gonna have all that new land undiscovered, you don't know exactly, you never, for the entire human history, you have no idea exactly what's happening there and what can we build, and probably gonna start with a fresh, better way of constructions. Hopefully it's gonna be controlled by the West, because if you leave the Chinese, they're gonna build the same fucked up shit as always do. So that's not gonna worth it, but otherwise, pretty good. Gonna have a nice place to live there, especially with the ice melting there. That would be an interesting lifestyle, I would say, a polar lifestyle. People are gonna choose to live there, a few of them, even if you have a vacation home, I would say, and that would be interesting to see. Yeah, the road not that well here, no sidewalk, it's just dirt. Housing, not that appealing. Let's say that's a new car, that's an expensive car right there. Those are probably store shops or whatever they're selling there. Yeah, doesn't look appealing at all. This is like 300 meters above sea level, so pretty low ground. And we have some 360 here. I didn't expect much. Like I say, when in urban area, yeah, it's a no. It's a no. In a landscape wise, in the mountains, yeah, pretty good, I have to say. But okay, so we have a big town, but in a very low region. Let's see how they're doing here. Okay, this is in a store, I guess. Pretty interesting furniture. Pretty interesting choice of the furniture. They have an airport here. Let me show. I'm not going outside the border, so let's check this one. Yeah, not so well. We have to make that's what I'm saying. When you go to those countries outside the Western world, they really need the cities pretty much are out of the questions, and they really have like a very cheap way to travel and very cheap tourism, very cheap hotels, very cheap food, all that stuff, to actually worth it to check those countries. And also in case of Nepal, they have half of the Mount Peak Everest, so the road is pretty good here. So yeah, that's been a main attraction site from the country, I would say. Otherwise, not that much, as you can see in the urban area. It's just a no. Look at this. Let's check very randomly this part of the road, and look at this. Just nothing appealing about here. Just come on. Oh, that's an expensive car right there. So yeah, nothing appealing about this country except landscape, I would say, and maybe some tradition and some all that stuff. If you are in that stuff, I am not. So for me, it doesn't matter all that much. But landscape-wise, it is pretty good. And if you are not one of those people that just want to go on the highest point of the planet and stuff like that, you can find better in Europe. The only way I will go here is pretty much if they, but even that, I'm not going. For some people, if they're very cheap to go there, very cheap to travel, very cheap to see and explore new things, that would be a reason. Otherwise, I don't look at those mountains. Looks pretty nice. And keep in mind, we're gonna go in South America pretty soon, and there might be a bit better, I would say, for the Western people, for the Europeans and Americans to travel. Here, with all that corruption and all that things that are going on in Asia, so yeah. Gonna be a much tougher choice. But yeah, if you want to see just mountains, stay in Europe. If you want to see something similar to that, probably I would choose to go more in the South America. Here is still a good choice. Nepal is not that bad. I have to say, it's not that bad. It's just, I don't know, it has to have a lot of advantages to make me pick them against other country, let's say like Chile, for example, or stuff like that. Country like that. So yeah, once again, it's not bad, but also hopefully I'm in the border here. Not something amazing just because the population is doing so poorly. That's the main reason, I would say. Yeah, landscape pretty nice. It's a pretty big country, high elevation country, nice mountains, nice rivers, the old architecture. Hopefully I'm still in the border. Looks pretty good. I saw some picture. I don't think we can see a lot of them in those 360s. This one is not the great architecture, the old one. Let me say that. But they have a pretty good view. So yeah, in Europe you're gonna pay a lot of money to have one of those views. Here at 3,500 meters, which is already very high. I think the humans are best to live no more than 3,000 meters. And also have no idea how they hitting their home there, probably with wood. So that's not a very good idea in my opinion. Look at this is 3,000 meters, so that's pretty much the limit. You can actually have a nice, good life, cozy life, let's call it like that. But anything, from what I understand, I might be wrong, but if I understand anything about 3,000 meters, it's not gonna be that pleasing, especially in the long term. It can have some harmful effect on you. Here they don't have that many trees, especially on this side of the mountain. So yeah, I'm not sure how they actually hit their home in a winter. Pretty much all year round. They have some wood here, but probably it's gonna be expensive. They're gonna take them from someone else. So yeah, you have to pretty much hit the home year round here. I don't think you're gonna have some months when you don't do it. So yeah. 4,200 meters, insanely high, you can see, but also insanely good views. But I guess once you live there, let's say for a year, you kind of get used to it with all of that, and you don't give a fuck that much about them. So yeah, that's also something to keep in mind, because I see also a lot of Europeans and Western people from the world and say, oh, we're gonna move there, we're gonna live so much nice, and 1 year later just come back. It's not that great after a while. So you can have to appreciate how much better jobs we're doing here in the Western world. So yeah, but vacation here, a week maybe, if you find a cheap one, and we include some trailing in the mountains and stay away from any urban area, and just trying to focus on those old type of architecture in the mountains, and probably stay there. Pretty good, I have to say. And if it's cheap enough, if let's say I pay 1,000 euros, $1,000 to visit for a week, and I get food and transportation and anything I want to see, I want to do there included. Let's say for 1,000, I pay 1,000 and I get everything that I want to see. The Nepal experience, let's call it like that. I think it's worth it to do it once in your lifetime. But yeah, second time, no way. I just don't see the point. And I don't want to go on that mountain also. A lot of people just think from dying from that, and it's not that appealing anymore, I would say. Just everybody pretty much done it. So yeah, for me, when I see a lot of people doing the same stuff, for me it's like, nah, it's a deal breaker. Just what's the point now? But I want to see those kind of things, because I want to go here and see it. And then I want to from some reason they have a trail to the one of those peaks, not the highest one obviously, to see how it is from there. So I will go, let's say, to 5,000 meters, maybe 6,000, but there is no way I'm gonna go to 8,000. That would be a nice experience, a complete experience. I say for a week here, that would be nice. And then when I finish this one, just go to the closest airport and keep my eyes closed when I go to those urban area. Yeah, pretty good. I would say pretty good experience. Yeah, look at this. See, those type. If I stay a week, let's say, in a village like this one with this type of architecture, I would be much better pleasant than, let's say, a modern hotel or stuff like that. That I can have pretty much. If I go in Europe or anywhere, I can stay one of those much better hotels than they were gonna offer. So I prefer those traditional buildings. If you go there, see, look at this. Even have a nice river there. So they keep clean in some those mountains. Say that it is much more cleaner, so they don't have garbage everywhere, which is very much appreciated. Yeah, otherwise, like I say, just they have a small airfield here. I don't think it's an airport, obviously, but still they have one. Yeah, those type I don't like those buildings. So when I say those traditional one, I'm not referring to this one. I'm referring to really the architecture one. But some reason, if my plane arrives here and I'm going from here to to my, like I said, that nice hotel, traditional one, that's pretty good. We have a lake here. Yeah, I visit the lake, I visit the mountains. If I can swim in this one, it'll be 5,000 meters. So yeah, see, another 1,000, I'm good. I am pretty good. I'm not sure exactly which type of year you should go here. Probably in the summer, it's gonna be a better. They always have snow there, so yeah. I'm not gonna go in the winter when it's pretty much cold as fuck and all that stuff. But still, look at this, 4,000 meters, and I see those. I make some pictures, yeah, no problems. But it's one of those one in a lifetime experience. I don't think it's one of those like we have in Europe. They just want to come back every year. It's just going once and that's it. You done it. You see Nepal. See, if you really you have to see this country. Like I said, probably it's gonna be some other better option. But if they are cheap enough and I can have that experience for a week for 1,000 US euros, yeah, pretty good. I would say it's worth it. I would say it's worth it, and you don't have any trouble with the police, whatever corruption stuff they go in there. Also pretty good. It's gonna be a nice memory. Well, that's the point. Like I say, those people in those countries just focus on the tourism area, and it's nice to keep them as simple as possible. But you don't focus on their own people and just see how those live. You're always gonna, for me at least, it's not gonna be a good image for them, because the mountain was there before them. The mountains don't need maintenance, and clearly don't need the government. The only people they need the government. Oh, look at this. See, if I live in one of those houses, in like a small room or hotel, whatever they call it, that would be much better. One of those stone ones with all those. Also, at a high elevation, I would say. They're just living at around, I don't know, let's say 4,000 meters. That would be interesting. 4,000 meters for a week. See, have those lines here. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. That would be a great place to have a week. Otherwise, yeah, clearly that was the reason why a lot of people just leaving the country and coming to Europe is for work. Don't think they get paid that much here. You can see that GDP per capita. You can see cannot take that much from that. and we saw how they actually live. So yeah, we have some sort of a confirmation, I would say. Otherwise, a pretty nice one. Those are not old-fashioned architecture, those are crappy new one, by the way. Landscape pretty nice. Everything else just a no. Definitely no, which sucks for them, I guess. Samantunga Hotel. Well, do I live in this hotel? Maybe, but doesn't look too traditional. So I would choose a better one. At almost 4,000 meters, so yeah, pretty close. And again, I don't want to visit the Mount Everest. I don't want to climb to that. Maybe see it from the distance if it's a clear sky and a clear day, but it's not for me. Yeah, I think we kind of summarize this video up. Just pretty nice, like I say, same story here in this region. Nice landscape, and that's it. Anything else, it's pretty trashy, let's call it like that. And we see that with the low income populations, just the way it is. Oh, here in the mountain, look at this, in the snow. Yeah, I'm not gonna go. What time? It's March, so yeah, even in March, it's not a great place to time to visit. So probably it's gonna be like, I don't know, August, I would say, the very hot summer. As hot as possible here. And having a perfect clear week with no snow, no rain, no stuff like that. Okay, this is a pretty nice picture right here. What are those? Yeah, if you get a great week weather, that would be the main attributes to your journey. It would be as good as possible. If you get there from the weekend, you get bad weather, that's just pretty much a waste of time. But you can't control weather, so it is what it is. Yeah, pretty nice, I have to say, pretty nice. If they fix the corruption, they fix the population, but clearly not this century, is gonna wait for the next one. They could do much better. So yeah, Nepal is one of those not very small country by the European standard, but by the Asian one, clearly between India and China, they're very small. I don't know how exactly they're gonna stop migration that much. Clearly the migration just pick up, like I say, after the pandemic ended. But yeah, if they somehow, the government makes a good reason to stop them, so good politics, and improve the life there, right there in their country, not just export the cheap labor, probably in the long term they're gonna do much better. But again, we have a growing population still, and 35 million people in that country. Yeah, it's not gonna be great. Look at this type of architecture. If you have those types living in something like that in the mountains, that'll be pretty good. Otherwise, not that appealing. The new modern one, let's call it like the clearly the cheap one. And I have no idea how much it's gonna cost to build a house there, but clearly it's gonna be much cheaper than in the Western world. So yeah, next video I'm gonna make Bhutan. That would be an interesting one to see. Hopefully we're gonna have a clear border, which we don't, so probably the same problem with the border in this region, but we're gonna see how those people actually live. And yeah, see you in the next one.